You guys, I know we haven't talked about the Ace family in a long time, but everything has kicked off this week between Austin and Catherine, and it's not looking good. It's a mess, so let's get into it. I feel like it's been well over a year since we last spoke about Austin or Catherine. After they announced their separation, and after Austin's Snapchat meltdown got old, there really hasn't been anything to talk about with them. Catherine is seeing someone new, Austin and his brother started a podcast. It's been pretty quiet, and some may say they even fell off, which isn't really a bad thing. Seeing as though they were constantly in drama before, it was definitely a nice change for once. But that all took a turn this week when Catherine announced that she was releasing a book about her life. Catherine announced the release of her book on Instagram and wrote, "Today, I'm taking a leap of bravery and sharing something deeply personal with all of you. Writing this book was the most vulnerable thing I've ever done, but also one of the most rewarding. It took courage to pour my story onto these pages, but I did it because I believe in the power of honesty, connection, and resilience. I hope this book inspires you as much as writing it has transformed me. I can't wait for you to read it and experience this journey with me." So at first, it seemed like we weren't going to find out anything about the contents of this book until July 1st, but some of the pages ended up leaking. You know how before you go to buy a book or an audiobook, it sometimes lets you preview a few pages or a few chapters? Well, some pages from the book were uploaded as a preview, and they were screenshotted before they could be taken down, and they were about Catherine and Austin's relationship and how he cheated on her. In one of the most shocking entries, Catherine talks about that big charity basketball event that the Ace family held and what was actually going on behind the scenes on that day. She wrote, "Together, Austin and I were a dynamic duo, the secret sauce that made our YouTube channel so popular, the perfect blend that made it all happen. And yet, strangely, the more I watch my husband work, the more I dismiss my own contributions. As a woman with traditional family values, I put Austin on a pedestal. I made sure he knew he was seen and that his efforts were appreciated, but I didn't know if he saw me. I had been feeling invisible for a while, a contradiction that wasn't lost on me, given that millions of people watched my every move online. At the first huge sold-out event we'd organized for Thirst Project, I'd been pregnant. Staying out of the spotlight made sense. But at the second fundraiser for the Painted Turtle, I wasn't pregnant. I felt good, strong, ready. I'd poured myself into this event too. I wanted to be a part of it. We were dressed in red, looking our best. The roar of the fans inside the massive arena echoed through the walls, a pulse you could feel down to your feet. They were there to see the basketball players, sure. But more than that, they were there for us, for the Ace family. We meant something to them, a symbol of love, of family, of everything good and uplifting. I was excited to walk out with Austin, to greet our extended Ace family together. I felt the love radiating from the crowd, and I wanted to return it, to stand beside my husband and share the moment. And then came the locker room, a space of waiting, of anticipation, a moment that should have been small, but wasn't. I turned to Austin. "Do you want me to walk out with you?" A simple question, but beneath it, something deeper, a need. To be chosen, to be wanted there beside him as his wife. To be part of it in a way that wasn't just background support, wasn't just behind the scenes. To be the Ace family in more than just appearance. He shrugged and looked away. "Only if you want to." Flat, casual, not yes, not I want you there, just a half-hearted comment as if it didn't matter either way. But it did matter. It mattered to me. I thought, okay, if that's what he wants, I'm going to let him have his moment. I stayed back, I let him step out into the arena alone. The roar of 20,000 people filled the air, an explosion of sound so loud, it vibrated in my ribs. I watched from the shadows how the light caught his face, his proud smile, and the effortless way he held the fans' attention as he waved up at them. I wanted to be there standing beside him. The moment was his, but it should have been ours. We were the Ace family. We'd built this together, a symbol of love to millions. But it wasn't just that. I wanted the dream for myself too. I wanted to be my husband's one and only, the person he saw first and last, not secondary, or somewhere even further down the list to the fame. After he walked out alone, I told myself that it was the right thing, and that I was being generous, that I was letting him shine, that he deserved this solo moment. But beneath all that, another feeling clawed at my chest. A dull ache, a sadness I couldn't name. I wasn't out there with him because he hadn't wanted me out there with him. And when the event was over, I walked out into the arena, finally joined my husband as people swarmed around us, basketball players, photographers, videographers, security, influencers, and a random individual from the crowd. After he finished, he passed the mic to me dismissively. "Babe, you want to say something?" He was already turning away. As I spoke to the packed arena, he walked off, hovering only in the periphery until I was finished. After I thanked our Ace Family supporters, telling them how much they meant to us, Austin returned to my side to say a few last words to the crowd. Then our channel's theme song by Glenn Travis came on, the powerful song that helped us grow to unimaginable heights on YouTube. As Feel My Love played, I looked up at the Ace Family supporters with their voices raising in unison, singing along, eyes locked on us as a kind of yearning, a hopefulness that made my chest tighten. They weren't just watching, they were projecting, seeing their own dreams reflected in us, in what they believed we stood for. Familial love, loyalty, a forever bond between two people with their children as an extension of that love. If Austin had felt that, if he'd understood what the audience wanted, he would have wrapped his arms around me, kissed me, given them a moment, even if only for show. A gesture to say, "We are still who you think we are." But instead, he waved to the fans as he turned away from me, more intoxicated by the roar of strangers than the quiet, authentic love standing beside him. I watched him as his eyes kept looking everywhere but at me, and I knew he had drifted too far from the essence of why we resonated with people in the first place, too far from what had once been genuine between us. My heart felt heavy as I watched my husband, but I did what I did best. I masked it. When the song finished, he made the rounds of schmoozing with people who fed his ego until it was time to go home. I didn't say anything to him that night. I should have. I should have grabbed his hand in the locker room and asked, "Why don't you want me beside you?" But I didn't. Instead, I filed it away, buried the pain. In that moment, though, I felt a subtle shift, the beginning of the end. And just a few months later, everything came crashing down for real. I found out Austin had been cheating on me. Not a suspicion, not a rumor, proof. I realized then why he hadn't wanted to walk beside me, why it had been so easy for him not to. He'd already broken his vows. He'd already been gone from me, longer than I had known. A close family member of his admitted to me that he'd invited a girl to that very Staples Center event, the same night I'd convinced myself I was being selfless for letting him have his moment. I'd seen her there. Pretty, a hanger-on, standing just close enough to feel out of place, yet comfortable enough to belong. I had noticed her in the way you catch something that doesn't quite fit, a puzzle piece jammed into the wrong spot. I'd even wondered who invited her. Now I knew. It all made sense. The way he hadn't wanted me next to him, the shrug, the indifference, the way he treated me that night, as if I was a thorn in his side. The distance that had been stretching between us widened like a crack in a foundation too stubborn to crumble all at once. In an instant, it all connected. That realization wasn't an explosion. It wasn't rage or shouting or throwing things. It was slower, heavier, a knife to the gut that didn't cut fast but pressed in, deeper and deeper, until I could feel it in my bones, or rather, my heart. It wasn't just the betrayal, it was a realization that I had been living inside a lie. That our life, the one we had built with camera angles and clickbait and perfectly timed edits, was hollowing out beneath me, an illusion created for millions to see, but never for me to truly live. The relationship, the love that had once been true, had evaporated before my eyes, dissipating into air like vapor, leaving nothing behind but the ache of knowing it had been slipping away long before I ever saw it. All the things I had ignored, brushed aside, rationalized, they hadn't been paranoia. They had been real. After that, I turned inward. Inside, I questioned everything about Austin, everything that had come before. Every late night editing session, every last minute excuse, every glance at his phone that ended with the screen tilted just out of my view. I discovered that there were others, so many girls, so many betrayals. I had never felt more alone, not just in my relationship, but in my life. I couldn't call my mom, I was too ashamed, too humiliated to say the words out loud. He cheated on me. Saying it would make it real, would turn it into something I couldn't shove down or reshape into something easier to swallow. I couldn't tell my dad or my brother. My brother had just started his own YouTube channel, and I didn't want to pull him into the mess. Didn't want him looking at Austin differently, even though I would never see my husband the same way again. I was also newly pregnant with our third child, so I carried it alone. The weight of it, the ache of it, the thirst for something I didn't have. It all lived inside me. It sat in my chest, heavy and unmoving, making it hard to breathe, hard to sleep, hard to think about anything else. So, Catherine finally admitted that Austin did in fact cheat on her after protecting him from this truth to their fans for years. Once the news started to spread, Catherine was getting a ton of love and support in her comment section, and people were reacting to this new information. Fans were going back to their old content and looking at it much differently now.
It's crazy. The moment I met Catherine, she was the one. Instantly, right?
Yeah.
And so when, no. A lot of you guys can say you met the one, but really haven't met the one. Like, I was like, yo, this girl, she ain't going nowhere. Wow, that's my rock right there. Like, yo, it'll be.
Another video said, and this, ladies and gentlemen, is why loving and trusting is so scary. To have a mistress is one thing. To invite the mistress to your family event, surrounded by thousands of people, their kids, their family, is diabolical. The way Catherine was longing for his attention, not knowing his mistress was 10 feet from them, completely broke my heart for her. Another said, the Ace family situation really scares me. To think you can really give a man everything, build an entire empire, family, wealth, marriage, and still cheat. The ultimate betrayal. And during Austin's new podcast with his brother, he actually addressed the divorce and definitely didn't mention anything about cheating.
First, and it was a never toxic relationship. Nothing in our home was toxic. When we argued, it was really short, and then we got over it. But I will say, you know, it was really feeling like we were more best friends than actual husband and wife.
Okay.
And so that's what it was leading towards. She was going one direction, I was going the other direction, and we just couldn't get on the same track.
So while Catherine was getting a lot of love and support from the fans, Austin was receiving quite the opposite. We had people leaving comments like, the fact he had the best, yet destroyed it for a few average wannabes. Cheats never find contentment. Kathy was the best he had, and sadly, his kids will learn of this and what he did. When she was pregnant, how low can you go? Well, a few hours after these pages leaked and the hate started to roll in, Austin decided to release a 33-minute Snapchat story addressing the allegations made in Catherine's book. We're going to go over everything that he said. I'm going to try and cut it down to only the important bits, but it's a lot. Starting off, Austin said he felt blindsided by what was said in Catherine's book. He said ever since the separation, they've had a really good co-parenting relationship, they're still friends, and they talk every day, yet he had no idea what Catherine was about to say about him.
Blindsided because, as you guys know, and what you guys have seen for the past year and a half, Catherine and I have the best co-parenting situation that any parent can ever ask for. We actually have a better relationship now than we did when we were married. I look at Catherine as a best friend, someone that I talk to every day, not just about kids, but about life. She called me last week about her boyfriend, how he had a homeless guy sleeping in his car. I was just over her house bringing the kids pizza, not just the kids, but her and her boyfriend pizza. We were all sitting in her living room eating the pizza. And then the next morning is when the snippet of her book comes out, and it talks about how a terrible person and how I was a terrible husband.
So from what I saw, Catherine actually never said Austin is a terrible person and a terrible husband. Although she has every right to, considering what he did to her, she never actually came out and said that from what I saw. So if that's the shoe Austin wants to put on, at least we can all agree it fits him perfectly.
Not once did she ever come to me and talk to me about this book. Yes, I was aware she was writing this book. She did not tell the full truth, which is why I'm here today to tell you guys the full truth and to tell you guys what really happened.
Austin then theorizes that Catherine chose to release this specific snippet from the book about him because she knew it would catch everyone's attention and have more people order her book.
I don't know about you guys, but I find it very odd that the first chapter of her book is about me. She wanted to use me in this snippet to reel everybody in for clickbait and to monetize from the book. Usually when someone writes an autobiography about their life, it starts with, hey, my name is, not Dolores.
This just goes to show you that Austin has never picked up and read a book in his life, because what autobiography do you guys know that starts with, hi, my name is?
That's definitely not how she started it. And that's why I feel like it was a setup.
Austin explains how they were trying to figure out a way to go about announcing their divorce a year and a half ago. Austin was pushing to do a sit-down video with them both in it, where Austin would admit to everything and take the blame, but Catherine didn't want to do that, and he explains more about the back and forth they were having when trying to decide how to break the news.
I felt the best way of doing it was coming out with a YouTube video together, her and I side by side. And I even told her that, hey, I'll do all the talking, I'll take full accountability for my actions and all the mistakes that I've made. I said, you don't have to say anything if you don't want. Even though you've made mistakes and I've made mistakes, I'll go ahead and take all the blame. She didn't want to do that.
So Austin did end up filming his own video by himself, and judging by the clip that he showed us, the one thing I can say is that Catherine was absolutely correct in saying it would not be a good idea for him to put that out there.
It caused me to seek it elsewhere. It caused me to make bad decisions. I admit I've failed as a husband.
So, long story short, she didn't want me to post it. And this is what she had to say about it. Also want you guys to know that I'm going to have receipts throughout this entire video.
Austin says he has receipts for everything he talks about in this Snapchat because he knew there was a possibility of Catherine one day exposing him, which is just crazy to me. Keeping receipts on your ex-wife when you're the one that cheated on her.
And the reason why I have some of these receipts is because I knew that one day there was a possibility of something like this happening. And you guys have seen it time and time again, where couples break up and there's always some sort of exposing. And so I just wanted to be able to have my own truth just in case something like this happened.
And to make the situation even worse, I was thinking Austin's receipts were going to be like maybe a text message that he screenshotted and kept for a rainy day, but no. It was 10 times worse. This man recorded Catherine seemingly without her knowledge, which I'm pretty sure is illegal in California, and now he's playing it for everyone to hear.
So I'm saying, is that okay?
Yes.
Okay, but do I have to worry about like you, like saying something like after and stuff?
So I'm basically asking her like, what is okay for me to say? She showed me her statement that she had, and I was like, okay, well, I had no say in that. You're doing what you want to do. Am I allowed to do what I want to do?
No, you just say
I'm just
you weren't happy.
Okay, I'm just asking.
Like, say what you said in your video.
Daddy.
I just think your video would have been, you would have had a lot of backlash. I think this way is much more organic.
So as you heard what she said that if I was going to release this video, I would get a lot of backlash, as if she cared about me getting backlash. What is happening now?
I mean, Catherine is right. Just think back to how much hate Austin got when they first announced they were getting a divorce, and that was without anyone knowing for sure that Austin cheated. Like, we all knew he cheated, it's been known about for years, but that confirmation wasn't there. Can you even imagine the backlash he would have received if it came out that they were getting a divorce and it was because of Austin cheating on her time and time again, especially while she was pregnant with their third child? If anything, to me, it feels like Catherine was trying to protect him. But Austin feels like Catherine didn't want him to be the one to tell their fans that he cheated because she wanted to save that news for shock factor for her book, and all I have to say to that is rightfully so. For years, there's been rumors about Austin cheating. Influencers knew, the girls made videos about it, Tana exposed it. If Catherine wanted to finally be in control of when or if that was finally confirmed, then I feel like that's her right. If she wanted to put it in her book, then so be it.
You don't want to feel like you're being attacked in any way, or like I'm
gonna have to keep worried about you.
I don't want you.
Because my concern was that, is she going to keep bringing me up time and time again for however long? So I'm asking her, hey, if you're going to continue to do this, then I'm going to have to do it as well.
I feel like that because I don't want you to worry about that, because that's not the case.
Okay, as long as you're
and I want you to know that that's not the case.
I know, but
I'm not here.
But again,
because if that was the case, if you really truly think about it, that would have happened years ago. If that was really my way my
Yeah, but you know how people are over after breakups. It's like, no, I'm not saying you. I'm saying in general, right? Would you agree that women are like,
Sure,
they
that's
keep,
fucked up.
yeah, they
That's
keep,
fucking weird.
they keep
Yeah.
fucking be playing the victim. Like,
I fucking can't
oh my
stand that shit.
god, that's what I'm saying.
She said that I can't stand that shit when women expose their man after they break up. That's literally what she said. And that's literally what she's doing now.
Eventually, Austin addresses the girl that he allegedly brought to the charity basketball event. For the past 2 days, people have been trying to figure out who this girl is. Some people think they found out who it is, but Austin is saying that it's not true. He said he never invited any mistress of his to the charity event.
That is not true at all. Think about this. Why would I invite another girl there when this whole event is about my family? Why would I want that girl to see that? Me hugging and kissing and grabbing my wife's ass. You guys didn't want to show these clips. Me holding my wife's hand.
He said he stepped away from Catherine when she took the mic, not because he had another girl there, but because he was sweaty from playing basketball.
But you guys want to bring up a clip where it was 5 seconds of a video of me giving my speech, and then when I gave Catherine to Mike to tell her speech, I step away for a second to catch my breath because I just got done playing in an hour-long basketball game, and I wanted to catch my breath, and I wanted to wipe the sweat off of my forehead, and then I get right back next to her. In this clip, it shows you that when I grab the mic to give my speech, my arm is completely around her the entire time.
Again, I can't say this enough. Thank you for everyone who came out and supported us tonight. Thank you for everyone who watched the live stream. Like we always say, nothing will be possible without the Ace family. We truly mean that.
My arm is completely around her the whole time I'm talking. But she says that she feels unseen.
Babe, you want to say something?
I give her the mic and I step away for a second, catch my breath, and wipe the sweat off my
We
face.
have the strongest family in the world. The strongest. Oh my God,
And I'm-
for coming out.
And I'm still right there next to her.
He then shifts the blame onto Catherine and makes out like her speaking out about how she was actually feeling in that moment, probably because she had a gut feeling of what was going on, because a woman's intuition never lies. She has somehow ruined this memory of that event for him.
It's very unfortunate and sad because now she turned one of our biggest moments as a family brand into a mockery.
And we now know that Catherine's intuition and her gut feeling that she was probably having during that charity basketball event was right, because Austin does admit to cheating. He says that he stepped outside of his marriage, but also, once again, tried to blame Catherine and almost made it sound like he had permission to cheat.
When it comes to me stepping out of my marriage, I did. I 100% stepped out of my marriage. It was completely wrong for me to do it. I take full accountability. If I can go back and change it, I would. And I'm sorry for that. But when it comes to her acting like she had no idea what was going on, that is a complete lie. Catherine knew what I was dealing with for a very long time. I would come to her and I would voice how I feel about how I felt like I was getting no affection from her. There was a year period where we had no sex, and I would vent to her telling her what I needed. Her exact words verbatim, all my kids. She said, "Just don't make me look dumb. Don't embarrass me." I don't know what that means to you guys, but to me it sounds like, go do whatever you need to do, because I'm not capable of giving you what you need.
To me, that sounds like Catherine saying, I can't give you what you need because you aren't giving me what I need, and you need to find a way to fix it that doesn't involve making me look dumb or embarrassing me in front of our fans, aka don't cheat.
So Catherine tells you guys that back in 2018, 2019, I basically ruined her life because I stepped out of our marriage and she had no idea, when that is not true at all. She knew exactly what I was doing and when I was doing it. So much to where she stayed with me another 5-6 years after that. She continued to film every YouTube video with me after that. She even went as far as defending me, defending my name when people would ask her about me stepping out.
And his whole explanation to this is just the most ridiculous thing. She just gave birth to 3 kids in a short period of time. They were dealing with so much drama online constantly, mainly caused by Austin and his shady business deals. Yes, Catherine did stick around for that, but we all knew that Austin was always the main one normally behind them. Catherine was very clearly feeling pushed aside by him. She put him on this pedestal. Can you really blame her for not being affectionate towards him? I just don't understand how he can justify cheating because of that and make it sound like Catherine was okay with it too. Like, guys, she knew I was cheating. How dare she act upset? I told her I was cheating.
Even to where a few months after that event of her being so hurt, that a few months later, she even says, I'm her soulmate.
My soulmate, I know for a fact that it's Austin, and I also believe that my life partner is also Austin, which is really interesting because it has a lot to do with my life, my traumas in my past, even in my past life. It has to do with domino effects in my life, and that's why I was brought to Austin, and that's why we manifested each other, and I really feel like
someone that is destroyed would never say that.
And this whole thing just reminds me of that saying that's like, if you show a man that you'll stay with him through anything, that he'll put you through everything.
At this point, there was rumors that came out, never pictures or videos, because one thing she said was, just don't embarrass me. So I did what I needed to do in private, even though there were still rumors that came out. And when the rumors started coming out, that's when she then really didn't give a fuck. She said many a times in videos, there's a video here where she just doesn't care.
Okay, so nobody knows the truth, the tears and the yelling. Nobody knows what I went through. We're a fucking team, bro. Like, I don't give a shit. Like, I'm sorry.
Give
like,
a shit. She
not
said.
sorry, but I'm sorry. Like, I just don't care. What the hell happened? What happened that day? And I'm like, shit. Can we share my part? Shit. Yeah. I went through a lot. Behind a king, there's always a bigger.
Again, she's saying how she just doesn't care, she doesn't give a shit, and she's been through a lot because she knows what she's been through. Regardless of the fact that she knew about it, still does not make what I was doing right at all. But did I have a reason for why I was doing what I was doing? 100%.
And then Austin insinuates that Catherine was also maybe stepping outside of their marriage as well. He talked about her spiritual journey, and more specifically, when she started to experiment with ayahuasca. He said that he didn't agree with her using that, but he was trying to be supportive.
When she first came to me and talked to me about how she wanted to do ayahuasca, in my head, I was 100% against it. Something that I do not believe in. I believe in God. Because I'm such a supporting husband, I wanted to support her as much as I could. And so I let her seek that journey, and that's what she did. Through her ayahuasca journey, she was telling me how one moment she feels like she's a psychic. The next moment, she felt like she was a healer. The next moment, she turned me into a mermaid.
Are you Little Mermaid?
Or I could be Big Mermaid.
Okay, let me see the back.
Okay.
Okay, ew. Okay, so
I was being as supportive as I could. She even went as far as telling me that she was the reincarnated Virgin Mary and that she no longer wanted to have sex with me and she didn't want to use her body in that way. You guys put yourself in my shoes, and if your significant other told you that they were the Virgin Mary and no longer wanted to have sex with you, what would you do?
He said that he tried to be supportive of her going on these retreats, and it was during one of these retreats that she actually met her now boyfriend, and says that he found some messages between them while she and Austin were still together.
And it got so bad to the point where she was doing it once a month. She became addicted. Usually people do it once, maybe twice, maybe 3 times in their entire life, but she was doing it once a month. And this is where, during this process and her going out, traveling and going on retreats, she found somebody. And I came across their messages, and I didn't know what to make of it. I couldn't comprehend it, I couldn't understand it. But she told me that they were friends that met through their spiritual journey on one of these retreats. Just friends. Here are the messages that I came across that I didn't know what to think of it. And that's why I took her word and believed her because I had no idea what the f this meant. What does that mean? What type of language is that?
I personally have no idea what that means either. If you guys do, then let me know in the comments, but yeah, no idea what that means. Clearly, Catherine was checked out of the marriage after Austin's serial cheated on her. Doesn't make it right, but it seems like at this point they were staying together probably because it financially made the most sense, given that the Ace family was probably their main income source.
This is somebody that she was connecting with. And unfortunately, when you guys found out, I found out way before then.
Austin says once they got a divorce and Catherine got her own place, her boyfriend moved in, and that's when her spiritual journey got worse. He said when him and Catherine were still together, she would go to a professional to do ayahuasca, but now says that she was importing it from Brazil and doing it in her home where his kids were.
I know you guys know before, when she was doing ayahuasca, when I was living with her, she would do it away from me, away from the kids, and outside of the house, where she would go to a professional. I'm sure you heard of Linnell. Linnell has been a professional in this field and has been studying this field for damn near 15, 20 years. And when Catherine got her own spot and she was living with her boyfriend, she decided to take Linnell's business away from her clientele, and decided to do the ayahuasca ceremonies and her hosting them at her house, in her home where my kids lay their head. It got so bad. Sorry, I promised myself I wasn't even gonna cry in this video because I'm just angry.
And if that's true, that's absolutely crazy and it should not be happening, and I totally understand Austin not being supportive of that. Austin even went as far as to say that some of Catherine's very close friends came to him and told him that they were really concerned about what Catherine was doing inside of the home.
Good friends of hers came to me, and Catherine forced them to do it, just like she forced me many of times, but I turned it down because I didn't believe in it. She forced her friends to do it, and they came to me very concerned because they didn't have a good experience. And they said, Austin, I'm very concerned, not only for Catherine, but for your kids, because this is where they sometimes sleep. And she had random people that come in and out of her house that she doesn't know, that are all participating in this illegal together, that are all hallucinating and having all different types of experiences, that this is not a safe environment. Somehow they found someone in Brazil to help them illegally import this ayahuasca shit, and they've been hosting these ayahuasca ceremonies for the past year at Catherine's house where my kids lay their head. I knew I really only had two options. Either I get full custody of the kids, or I spend more time with them to protect them. And I think you guys know what option I chose.
Austin also says that Catherine has been telling their kids about what ayahuasca is, and even went as far to say that soon the kids themselves will be able to experience it.
She is also educating my kids on what ayahuasca is, and that she is telling me that soon they will be able to experience ayahuasca if they want.
And this is where the really big allegation comes in. Austin showed this picture from one of Catherine's retreats in her home and is claiming that one of the boys in the picture is only 12 taking part in this.
Here is a photo of all of them in Catherine's house experiencing the ayahuasca journey that they had together. And this boy right here is only 12 years old doing ayahuasca. Mind you, no one here is a professional. I don't know if you guys know how dangerous that is, but all it takes is for one bad experience and it changes all of our lives. Not just Catherine, not just mine, but my kids. And that's I'll never forget, ever. And so I took it in my own hands to have my kids more, try to spend more time with them.
To end things off, Austin says that he just hopes Catherine continues her spiritual journey outside of the family home and away from their children. He says that her book is manipulated and she didn't tell the full truth in it, and he never plans on speaking on any of this ever again.
But I really do hope that this video puts a stop to that shit. I hope that she can figure out how to do it away from the house and away from the kids in a safe environment. And when it comes to the things that she said about me in that book, I'm going to repeat this one last time. She did not tell the full truth about me stepping out of our marriage. I take full accountability. I have grown. I am not that person anymore. Our dynamic will no longer be the same. It's going to be very difficult for me to be there for her like I was for the past year and a half. This is going to be the last time I talk about everything.
Now, Catherine's boyfriend did come out to address the allegations that Austin made. He went on a long rant on Instagram and said that Austin was just misinformed about Oscar, but also said the boy in the picture wasn't 12. He wrote, "One more thing, the boy in the photo he showed is 17 years old and was accompanied by his parents, who are Kat's closest friends. There's no way a guy that size is only 12. Just take a proper look at the photo." But ever since Austin made this response video, Catherine's comment section is definitely not as supportive as it was just 24 hours ago. People are now calling her out for her use of Oscar and telling her that she needs to get help. One person said, "I was such a huge fan, but after seeing Austin snap, I'm out. He needs to get those kids. Virgin Mary reincarnation? Are you serious? If there's any side to pick, it's the kid side. I'm praying they remain safe." The whole situation is just such a mess. I personally feel like Austin's first half of the Snap story trying to justify the cheating is so manipulative and felt so off to me, but the second half, if that's true, it is really concerning. Catherine has since responded to the allegations that Austin made in a Q&A on her Snapchat. To start off, she said the Virgin Mary reincarnation thing was taken out of context.
No, I never said that, but I will say that everyone who knows me in my life, like everyone who knows me personally, knows how deeply connected I am to Mother Mary. I even have like necklace, like I always wear her on my neck. But I will say, like, I just feel like since we're all one, you know, like we're all connected, she's within all of us and you can connect to her at any time. And but yeah, I never said that.
Another person asked her about how she felt about Austin's reaction to her book coming out, and she said that she was expecting it.
To be honest, I was expecting it. I've been expecting that kind of reaction for many years, which is why it took me so long to put this out. I think that I was like preparing myself and gaining strength to tell my story and to share it with you guys.
Another person asked her why she stayed in the marriage if she knew that he was cheating on her, and she explained that it was because she was pregnant and already had 2 kids with him.
And I'm just excited for the book because this has been, and then I got book 2. Because I was pregnant with 2 children, that's why.
Someone else asked if Austin's response upset her, and she said it did because a lot of the things he said weren't true, and she was very kind to him in the rest of her book.
Yes, it did bother me, and I felt really hurt because a lot of the things he said were completely fabricated, but however, I still love him, and even in the book, like I wrote so many beautiful things and dedication to him that I call him my greatest teacher, which I do truly still believe that. I actually told him that today in a text when we were texting earlier. I'm just excited for this new part of my life, and yeah, I hope that, you know, like he gets all the love, and I care about him truly, and I like, but at the end of the day, it's like those things were fabricated and it does still hurt.
And she also explained the whole turning him into a mermaid situation.
Like a couple years ago, we did this photo shoot. It was for a campaign, and we wore mermaid fins in Hawaii. And I think that's what he's talking about, but you guys know Austin, he literally wears like dresses and wigs and like dresses like an old woman, like I don't know.
Another person asked her why she didn't just let Austin address the cheating situation himself in the video that he wanted to post over a year and a half ago, and Catherine said that she watched the video and it didn't feel genuine to her.
And internally, I didn't want to sit side by side with someone that I didn't feel like was going to actually be truthfully honest, because he wasn't even being honest with me and within our relationship. So I knew for sure he wasn't going to do it on camera. And so I didn't want to be in the video. And so he said, I'll make a video and then you let me know if you like it. And I gave him the benefit of the doubt. I said, and so I watched it and I just didn't feel like it was being sincere. Just genuinely wasn't feeling like sincere, like he was being sincere. And so I told him that, and he recorded me. I didn't know he recorded me. And now in hindsight, when I look back, it's all making sense. It's almost like a tactic, like calculated. Like he knew the video wasn't gonna ever be posted, and he kept it in his phone like for like a rainy day or something. Maybe he thought eventually maybe I'd like speak up and like share my story.
So that's everything that's happened so far. I thought Catherine was going to have a much worse reaction, especially since the allegations Austin made about her doing in the house around their family is very serious, but that's the one thing she didn't address, and who knows if she ever will. Anyways, guys, let me know what you think about everything down below, and I'll see you next time.